That's who I am, but I was not afraid. And today, again, I was getting at the players that are drafted today, and everyone, competitive people, the word dog comes up a lot. That guy's a dog. Well, I was a wolf, okay?
This is Jerry West, a name legendary for his skills in basketball history. Known as the Logo for his iconic representation in the NBA emblem, unrelenting drive and laser-sharp focus, West carried the Los Angeles Lakers to 9 NBA Finals appearances and cemented himself as one of the game's ultimate legends. But anyone who's watched him play knows that behind every shot, every clutch moment, were battles that pushed him to his limits. Today, we're diving into 6 legends West himself considered the toughest opponents of his career. Oscar Robertson, the Big O. When you hear the name Oscar Robertson, one thing comes to mind: unstoppable. Known as the Big O, Oscar wasn't just a basketball player. He was a force to be reckoned with, setting the gold standard for guards in the 1960s and early 70s. He was the complete package: scoring, rebounding, passing, you name it. Facing him was like battling a chess master while trying to avoid getting crushed by raw power. His versatility didn't just make him great, it made him nearly impossible to guard. At his peak, Robertson averaged a jaw-dropping 30 points per game, and for Jerry West, every matchup against him felt less like a game and more like a high-stakes war. Going up against Oscar Robertson was everything you feared as a player, West once recalled. He could dominate entire games, hitting deep jump shots one play, driving past defenders the next, and threading pinpoint passes to his teammates for easy buckets. For West, it was clear: Oscar wasn't like other players. He was smart and could exploit any defender's weakness. If you slipped up even once, he'd make you pay. West famously called him the most complete player he had ever faced. Robertson's ability to do everything on the basketball court forced West into battles that pushed him to his mental and physical limits. One moment that sticks out in basketball history is how Oscar carried the Cincinnati Royals on his back night after night, refusing to let his opponents have an easy win. His poise under pressure made him an absolute nightmare. When the game was on the line, Robertson could flip the script, scoring, dishing out assists, or grabbing boards like his life depended on it. Every possession felt like a fight, West said with admiration. Their matchups set the stage for some of the greatest battles in basketball history. Each game, a masterclass in resilience and competitive fire. Bill Russell, the wall of defense. If Jerry West ever had nightmares during his legendary basketball career, chances are Bill Russell was the one haunting his dreams. Known as the greatest defender in NBA history, Russell wasn't just tough. He was legendary for his ability to shut down entire teams on his own. As the centerpiece of the Boston Celtics dynasty, Russell collected an astonishing 11 championships, cementing himself as a player who simply didn't lose. For West, getting past him was like trying to break through an indestructible wall. It demanded more than skill. It required sheer willpower and endurance. West's Lakers met Russell's Celtics time and time again in the NBA Finals, creating one of the fiercest rivalries basketball has ever seen, and each clash felt like an uphill battle. Russell's defensive game wasn't just about blocking shots. It was about controlling the paint and altering the rhythm of the Lakers' offense. You couldn't play your normal game against Bill Russell, West once admitted. He would force you to rethink everything. Whether it was Russell boxing out for rebounds or outsmarting opponents, he was always 3 steps ahead. What made Russell truly terrifying was his mental approach to the game. He knew how to get under his opponent's skin and disrupt their confidence. Even West, a picture of calm and focus, confessed that Russell managed to shake him at times. Every possession was a grind, every shot contested, and every rebound a war. Yet, despite the frustration of losing to Russell's Celtics repeatedly, West never backed down. Instead, those battles made him tougher, forcing him to dig deeper and embrace the never-quit attitude that defined his career. Elgin Baylor, the revolutionary. When you put 2 basketball legends on the same team, you get the dynamic pairing of West and Elgin Baylor, 2 masters who redefined greatness as teammates on the Los Angeles Lakers. It's hard to capture how revolutionary Baylor was for the game. His ability to leap, twist, and glide in midair was a revelation, changing basketball from a grounded game to one bent on aerial artistry. Whenever Baylor stepped on the court, defenders, including West himself, Suddenly felt gravity wasn't their friend anymore. He wasn't normal, West joked in an interview. You couldn't guard him because no one played like him. Baylor played basketball like music, smooth and full of rhythm. 1 second, he was launching towards the basket. The next, he was pulling up for an impossible jump shot that always seemed to find the net. Even in practice, Baylor's brilliance forced West to think faster and defend harder. But what made Baylor truly hard to deal with wasn't just his scoring. It was how easy he did it. West admitted that Baylor could break down defenses with his sheer athleticism, making him nearly impossible to contain. Baylor's creativity wasn't limited to scoring. His passes, spin moves, and defensive awareness added layers to his play that kept even his own teammates in awe. When the Lakers hit the floor with Baylor and West, it was magic. Together, they created one of the NBA's most iconic duos, blending West's relentless perfection with Baylor's exciting play. But the truth is, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Even as teammates, Baylor's style occasionally forced West to adjust. He had an almost magnetic ability to draw attention and defenders to him. This created scoring chances for West, but also made it harder to predict the offense. Bob Pettit, the dominator. Known for his tireless work ethic and refined fundamentals, Pettit was as reliable as the sun rising, delivering dominance on offense while crashing the boards with ferocity. He wasn't out there for style points, he was out there to win, and his combination of skill and sheer willpower made him an absolute nightmare for anyone who dared to face him. For Jerry West, going toe-to-toe with Pettit was a test in resilience. You didn't just play against this guy, you squared off in psychological warfare, and every moment on the court felt like a battle of endurance and strategy. Pettit had a way of punishing opponents, not with brute force alone, but with his unmatched basketball IQ. Bob Pettit was relentless, West once said during an interview. You couldn't take a breather, not for a second. He would catch you slipping, and suddenly, it's 2 or 3 big buckets before you even realize what happened. What really set Pettit apart was his deadly jump shot. He didn't rely on size alone to dominate the paint. He could step out and hit from mid-range with silky smooth precision. That shot was his signature weapon, and defenders spent entire games chasing after him, trying to contest what they knew was coming, but couldn't stop. West reflected that Pettit's ability to mix up his offense made him impossible to predict. Once you thought you had him figured out, he'd hit you with something entirely different, West said. It was exhausting. His battles with Pettit didn't just shape the way West approached the game, but also gave him a first-hand look at the grit required to rise above the elite competition of his era. Wilt Chamberlain, the giant. Just saying his name feels larger than life, doesn't it? The man wasn't just dominant. He was practically a myth who came to life and shredded record books. In a league full of elite players, Wilt stood out like a skyscraper in a small town, scoring 50 points in a game? Easy. Grabbing 30 rebounds? Just another night for the Big Dipper. Wilt wasn't playing basketball, he was redefining it. And for Jerry West, facing Chamberlain wasn't just a challenge, it was survival of the fittest. No one could match Wilt's physical presence, West once said. And it's true, Wilt was a 7'1" colossus, who combined strength with agility in ways that didn't even seem human. He could bulldoze past defenders or leap high enough to swat anyone's dreams of scoring away. Playing against Wilt felt like trying to stop a runaway freight train. The only question was how long you could survive before it overtook you. What made battles between West and Chamberlain so legendary was their contrasting styles. West, the relentless perfectionist and tactical genius, relied on precision and finesse. Wilt, he brought sheer dominance and unmatched athleticism. Watching them clash on the court was like witnessing two forces of nature collide. Wilt could rack up points like no one else, but in many ways, he pushed West to dig deeper, finding new ways to compete and keep the Lakers alive against the unstoppable force Chamberlain brought every night. But here's what made their story even more captivating. After years of epic battles, West and Chamberlain joined forces. The Lakers were already good, but adding Wilt transformed them into one of the most formidable teams the NBA had ever seen. Suddenly, the unstoppable juggernaut became an ally, and West finally had someone just as extraordinary on his side. Wilt elevated everyone around him, West would later remark about their historic championship run together. Sam Jones, the silent killer. He was absolutely ruthless on the basketball court. Nicknamed the Silent Assassin, Jones was the definition of clutch, and his deadly mid-range jump shot tore through defenses like a knife. A cornerstone of the Boston Celtics dynasty in the 1960s, he was the player opposing teams feared in the final moments of a close game. For Jerry West, every matchup with Jones felt like walking on a tightrope. One wrong move could result in disaster, a dagger from Jones that would swing the momentum and crush the Lakers' hopes. West often marveled at Jones's ability to deliver under pressure, calling him the ultimate competitor. That quiet demeanor wasn't a weakness, it was an armor. He let his game do all the talking, and it was deafening. Sam was downright infuriating to guard because of his consistency and decision-making. He didn't give you an inch, West once said in an interview. Every mistake got punished immediately and against him. There was no time to recover. The most jaw-dropping part of Jones's game was his ability to dominate when the stakes were at their highest. In crucial moments, he was Boston's go-to player, the one who could hit the shot no one else could under the weight of the playoffs. Time and time again, West's team struggled to beat Jones and the Celtics in tight games. But Jones didn't just test West physically, he tested him mentally. Battling Jones gave West a true appreciation for grit and mental toughness, aspects that would shape his own career and push him into legendary status. When the buzzer sounded, West knew that facing Sam Jones was a lesson in resilience, precision, and the art of staying ice cold when the pressure peaks. Those matchups taught West what it meant to deal with killers on the court, even silent ones. West's journey was about the relentless pursuit of greatness, forged in battles with the best, with killers on the court, even silent ones. West's journey was about the relentless pursuit of greatness, forged in battles with the best. Their matchups were more than games. They became stories that defined the soul of competition. And even today, his legacy stands tall, proving that the best are made through fierce rivalry and determination. All right, that's all for today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.